Tayo na't makinig sa DZUP 1602. Kasali ka.
Para natin, mapagpalaya't malayang bukas kamping. Tinggin, tinay-tindig ng bayan. Lakas ng sama-samang paghakbang. Ikaw at ako, kasali tayo.
Halika na't makinig sa DZUP 1602. Tayo na't makinig sa DZUP 1602. Ikaw ako tayo sa DZUP 1602. Kasali ka.
Good morning to everyone. Before we formally begin our program, let us first familiarize ourselves with the house rules for this event. Please remember to keep your comments respectful, avoid hateful speech, and follow the community guidelines of the streaming and video conferencing platforms. Please remain muted for the duration of the program. Only unmute when prompted to do so during the Q&A and assessment portion. You may also opt to use the chat function. And finally, please be informed that this program is being streamed live on Facebook. Please be mindful that any decision to show your video indicates consent for yourself to be included in the live stream. We shall now formally begin our program with the entrance of colors and the singing of the national anthem.
Pusulong! Kot! Mulai! Go! Tonghol! Kulay! Baba! Kulay!
Once again, I would like to greet everyone a good morning. So I hope everyone is doing good on this beautiful Monday morning. And allow me to formally welcome you to Ikaw at Eko, an Environmental Protection Seminar. Today's installment of the Bayanihan sa Diliman NSTP Common Module. My name is Sam and I will be your host for today. Joining us today via Zoom are the students and faculty from the College of Human Kinetics and the different institutes of the College of Science. And so if you're here, please use the heart react to show us that you're here and awake. Okay. And hello and good morning as well to those joining us via live streaming. Today's module is all about environmental protection. And in line with this, we will have 2 lectures followed by a panel discussion. And without further ado, allow me to introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker has been a faculty member at the University of the Philippines since 1984 and served as the Dean of the College of Human Kinetics from 2012 to 2019. His passion and talent for sports is evidenced by his experience playing and coaching baseball, representing the Philippines in fencing at the SEA Games, working as a coach for professional basketball teams, among others. He is an expert in outdoor recreation and leisure and environmentalism, having authored and presented research in the field, an advocate for the national martial arts sport arnis, a mountaineer, and a passionate scholar of and for the nation. Please welcome to the stage and give a virtual round of applause to Associate Professor Ronualdo Dizer.
Po sa mga participants at sa mga kaguruan ng ating clusters, no? Excited po ako para magbigay ng konting informasyon kung gaano kahalaga sa amin ang kalikasan at ang natural environment. Bayaan niyo po munang magpakita ako ng video kung ano po ang ginagawa namin sa aming mga PE program para ma-promote ang environmentalism at ang proteksyon ng ating inang. Manood po muna tayo. Ulitin na lang. Okay, sana po nagustuhan niyo yung ating munting na palabas para magka-idea tayo kung gaano ka-importante sa amin ang environment. Okay. Sa UP po kasi sa CHK, lalo na yan, may mga iba-iba po ang category ng physical education program namin to be able to lead our students to live an active, productive, effective lifestyle when they leave the university. Meron po kami mga combative sports, racket games, mindful activities, may mga ball games, at isa po sa pinaka-prominent at pinakasikat na physical education program category po namin ay yung tinatawag natin na outdoor environmental alternative extreme recreational program. Ano po ba ang mga activities na under sa ganitong programa? Meron po kaming mountain climbing, meron po kaming backpacking, meron po kaming bird watching, meron kami ng country trail biking, meron po kaming snorkeling, hanggang scuba diving at saka wall climbing po ay meron po kami mga ganitong kategorya. Hindi lang po sa PE program mayaman ang ating environmental exposure, pati rin po sa aming mga major courses in outdoor recreation management delivery service. Alam po ninyo sa progresibong mga bansa, ang outdoor recreation as a professional career is a multi-billion-dollar industry. No? Napakasikat at nakakabuhay ng pamilya at napakaganda ang professional opportunities sa outdoor recreation. Comparing to the country, ang ating pong bansa ay geographical and what we call this archaeological characteristics ay dapat po ay napakalaki ng oportunidad para sa mga expert o ng outdoor recreation leadership opportunities. Ito po ang aming ginagawa sa aming kurso, no? So, nakafocus po kami sa outdoor, with the advent use of the natural element. Ang natural element po na sinasabi natin ay land, sea, and air, no? Pag sinabi mo po yung land, nandyan po yung mga forest, mga parks, na bundok, caves, beaches, yan po ang mga land activities na pwede namin gamitin ang ating kalikasan. Pag sinabi mo naman po water, lahat po ng water bodies, no? River system, dagat, ocean, sea, at ganoon din po ang air. Meron po kami mga hang gliding, meron pa kami mga bungee jumping. Marami po ito ang ginagamit po namin with the advent use of the natural elements. At alam po ninyo, napakadami nang na-reinvent ng mga sports natin, nang naging kinonvert sa outdoor, katulad ng mga beach football, tennis volley, ultimate. So in-apply lahat sa paggamit ng mga natural element po. So kaakibat po dito ay kailangan natin i-promote ang environmentalism. Kailangan natin i-inculcate in their hearts and mind yung welfare ng Mother Earth, yung promotion at saka yung protections niya. So napaka-particular po kami sa mga ganitong mga prinsipyo, mga konsepto, mga ethics at mga motto, no? Sinusunod po namin. At napakalaki ang naging impact po ng outdoor recreation PE courses and major courses sa ating mag-aaral sa UP. For the last 30 years, I've been teaching the subject and I'm still in communication with some of my students in the past na ngayon ay may mga anak na nasa UP at ini-encourage pa rin ang kanilang mga anak. Nagugulat ako, may mga estudyante ako na anak ng dati kong estudyante, no? Na college na pinopromote pa rin ang outdoor adventure. At of course, yung lahat ng karamihan po ng aking mga naging estudyante in the past sa outdoor ay nagiging dahil sa kagustuhan nila na mapanatili ang playground at naging lifestyle nila, ay nagiging miyembro ng mga grupong may advokasya para protektahan ang kalikasan. May iba na nagiging member ng Greenpeace, Paribon Philippines, Mountaineer Organization. May higit 1,000, lakpas na po yata ang organisasyon ng student and professional organization in the field of outdoor recreation advocacy-oriented groups. So napakalaki po ng epekto at influence ng ating mga outdoor classes sa College of Human Kinetics. Okay, ito pong aming goals of outdoor adventure sa aming mga outdoor adventure courses, ano? Na makikita ninyo na talagang influencer siya at transformative sa ating mga mag-aaral pagdating sa pagmamahal, pag-alala at mga aksyon na dapat natin ginagawa para ma-promote, maprotektahan, mapangalagaan ang ating kalikasan at ipagpatuloy ang paggamit as a playground ng ating mga mamamayan para sa ating lifestyle. Okay? So ano po ba ang goals ng outdoor adventure TE courses namin? Number one, sabi nga po, is to appreciate the environment, no? Yung natural element, yung water system, yung kahalagahan ng bundok, kahalagahan ng kuweba, kahalagahan ng mga national parks. So ito po ang unang-unang advocacy namin sa aming mga adventure courses. Nandiyan din po ang pag-practice, pag-internalize ng mga outdoor environment ethics to protect and preserve it. Okay? Kasama rin po dito sa aming advokasya o layunin sa pag-offer ng mga courses to demonstrate basic outdoor skills. There are 7 basic teaching, fire building, bolo handling, outdoor cooking, no, lahat po ng knot tying, at lahat po yan ay pinag-aaralan namin to be able to live comfortably in the midst of the extreme weather conditions and to manage risk, no? Okay, to prove that outdoor activity is one of the safest physical activities that you can engage in. Yung mga sinasabi na delikado, hindi bagay sa kababaihan, mahirap at life-threatening, hindi po lahat walang katotohanan po yun. At education, unfortunately, sa atin, ang UP ay naka-benchmark sa international, global physical education and outdoor pursuits. Pero sa ibang university ay hindi pa po dumadating sa ganung klaseng pananaw, no? Katulad ng Ateneo, lahat po yan ay ang iniisip delikado, accountability, lawsuits, no? Medyo hindi po nila napapagpahalagahan yung value ng outdoor education, and that learning is not confined within the 4 walls of the classroom. We should go out and see the beauty of our country, the countryside, and for us to be able to act in behalf of it. Okay? Yan po. Maliban po doon, of course, demonstrate basic outdoor skills, no? You possess the skills in outdoor adventure sports, napakadami pong mga alternative. At napatunayan po sa maraming pag-aaral, mga scientific studies, na yung kaya nga po nagkaroon ng 2 classification, yung tinatawag natin ng the blue gym and the green gym. Ang blue gym, ito yung mga traditional, conventional sports using the urban city facilities and building and infrastructures like yung Fitness First, Celebrity Sports Plaza, yung ganyan. Ang green gym naman po ay ito yung paggamit ng ating natural element, no, para i-pursue yung mga sports, mga basic, no, component. Ang ating idea po is total fitness, no, wellness. Hindi lang naman po physical fitness, but spiritual, cognitive, affective, psychosocial, no, fitness, lahat po yan ay kasama para magkaroon tayo ng total fitness na tinatawag. So para nakita po namin na ang engagement sa green gym ay times 4 po ang benefits. Kahit na tayo ay mag-jogging lang sa sunken garden, no, o sa academic oval, tapos ang isa ay magja-jogging sa treadmill sa pinakamahal at pinakamagandang fitness center. Pareho ng workout, makikita niyo po times 4 ang benefits na nag-gain ng isang estudyante na nag-jogging sa bundok, sa beach, at kung saan man. Ganon din po ang psychosocial benefits. Kaya nga, na napakalaki po ng kaibahan. Kaya nga po, it turned out na yung camping ay naging #1 intervention program for students who are suffering from any psychosocial, psycho-emotional issues or conditions. Naging hanggang sa dumating po sa punto, lalo na after COVID, no? Lalo yung mga tagalasal na trimestral, yung stress, yung anxiety, yung mga mental health issues, mga suicidal tendencies. May mga estudyante pong, may mga parents na nagpupunta sa akin, pinapakausap na ma-enroll, no? Ang kanilang estudyante sa country. At gumaling naman po. Ano, nakita namin yung mga healing at yung mga recovery na nag-suffer sa at yung outlook nila sa buhay ay naging effective ang outdoor, ang using natural element para maging intervention program for any psychological issues. Okay? So maliban po dito, hindi naman basta ka pupunta sa bundok, pupunta ka sa global, pupunta sa Nuevo. Kailangan po ang development na training at with regards to the competency in outdoor leadership. Yung mga estudyante po natin ay nagiging magaling ng mga vanguard ng mga kalikasan, no? At ng mga leaders, no? Na talagang pati parents nila, sila yung mga team leader, pati mga organizations nila, pati friends, na naging influencer po tayo in encouraging them to travel and develop competency in handling. Kaya hindi na po high risk ang magbiyahe at pumunta sa natural element. Calculated risk po, no? So, identify and design adventure activities, kaya marami pong na-reinvent na and to be able to plan and organize outdoor for risk management purposes. Okay. Ito rin po ang sinasabi natin, prinsipyo para maging safe and sound at hindi natin masalaula ang ating kalikasan at magkaroon ng mga low impact camping without a trace na merong taong nagpunta doon, nag-stay ng overnight, no? Kaya dapat ay ina-adapt namin yung 7 principles of leave no trace principles, ano? So yung number 1 is planning ahead and preparing. All the things that you brought up should also be brought down. And of course, yung mga yung soil erosion, yung mga hindi po kami nagtatayo ng mga campsites, may mga established na po at may mga compliance sa mga requirements yon. Okay? So yung safety po, yung durable surface, yung travel camping surfaces, yung mga safety, yung mga sources of accident, okay? Disposing of waste properly, yan po ang sinasabi namin, ano? Yung walang non-biodegradable materials na dapat magstay sa kagubatan o kalikasan, no? Yung mga plastics, no? So we always leave what we find, lalo na yung mga may value na may mga archaeological value. So alam na mga bata namin yun na dumaan sa aming mga outdoor recreation program. Yung contamination po ng mga river system, yung water system. Okay? Flora and fauna po ay napakahalaga sa amin, no? Na kung paano kami hindi makaka-disturb sa mga fauna, no? Na mag-observe from a distance, no? By promote yung kanilang productions, no? Yung increase, lalo na po yung mga endemic animals, okay? So kami po ay nag-aaral din ng maging magaling sa fire building, no? Pero skills lang po, but we minimize campfire impacts, no? We teach our students to respect wildlife, and of course, lalo na, magugulat po kayo sa mga sikat na mga venue for outdoors. Nakikita niyo po kung gaano kagagalang at kababait yung mga mountaineers at yung mga outdoor enthusiasts, no? No, yung tumataka sa gulo ng urban setting, yung pollution, yung ingay. So nandun po talaga ayaw namin naman. Ang gustong sounds ay yung mga crickets, yung insect, yung hangin, yung bamboo. So we respect other people's desire for solitude and contemplation, reflection. So ito po ang purpose sa amin ng outdoor, no? So we embrace mga sayings, mga motto, mga ethics, no? Na makakatulong para ma-maintain namin yung pure and pristine natural environment. Like for example, ito napaka-popular ito, pero dapat po isa puso ito at gawin. Hindi lang pag tayo ay nasa kalikasan, pati po pag nasa urban setting. Ikita po natin na inis tayo pagka mayroong mga kotseng bubukas, magtatapon ng mga plastic Jollibee container, mga ganyan, cigarette butts. Magawa lang po natin ito sa city. So, ang laking contribution na po natin para makaiwas tayo sa pollution. So like itong take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, kill nothing but type. Ito po ay mga biblical verses sa amin pag kami ay nasa nature. At ang laking influensya po ito sa ating mga mag-aaral. No? Pag na-echo lang nila sa pamilya, pag na-echo nila sa mga kaibigan nila, ay nakaragdagan po para maproteksyonan ang ating kalikasan. Okay. So ang ating po, ang aming ultimate priority yung environmentalism. Ano po bang environmentalism? Listen, basically, it is yung mga advocacy of the preservation, restoration, improvement of the natural environment. Yung kahalagahan ng mga open spaces, no? So how do we promote this? May napakahalaga po sa amin ng low impact camping, yung capacity ng isang bundok o isang kalikasan. Nagpa-participate po kami sa mga program, no? Yung World Environment Day, pag may mga big plastic, example lang po ito, big plastic pollution. And tapos yung mga introduction po ng mga extreme sports using natural element. Dami na pong na-reinvent na mga sports na ginagamit natin ng kalikasan. At of course, economic side. Sabi nga, mas mura. Just a pair of rubber shoes. Invite your friends. You can walk. You can jog sa beaches, sa mga open spaces, sa mga national parks. At nasasatisfy natin trying to live an active, productive lifestyle. Okay. Ina-adapt po din namin yung aming ecological principles, no? Yung sa mga bata namin, yung example nito, no? Hindi po kasi sa amin kami naniniwala na magiging effective ang environmental campaign natin kung puro theoretical at puro classroom. We need to bring them there. They need to see it. They need to, like ang estudyante, malaki ang kamangmanga. Pagka tinuruan mo ng yung tinatawag natin scuba diving, skin diving, nakita nila yung color, mga coral, saka mga fishes sa ilalim, nahuhook at nagiging nagiging part ng kanilang ng kanilang lifestyle. So, doon pa lang nagiging effective ang mga ecological principles. Karagdagan para matulungan sila mapanatili ang kalikasan. Ito po yung example, nature's knows best, all forms of life are important, everything is connected to everything, like a circle. Yun sa ating sa movie na cartoon na cycle of life, everything changes, everything must go somewhere. Ours is a finite earth, hindi na kailangan kalagaan. Nature is beautiful and we are its stewards. No? Tayo po lahat ay dapat ay leader at steward ng ating kalikasan. Alright, so ito po yung pinilit ko kung magkasya sa loob ng 15 minutes ang ating talk. Sana po ay nakapagbigay ko ako ng karagdagang kaalaman kung paano nakakatulong ang kolehiyo ng yung pantaong kinetika in preserving, promoting, and for people, for students to act in behalf of our environment for its protection and welfare, Mother Earth's welfare. Marami pong salamat sa mga nakinig. Now, let's enjoy outdoors. Let's go out. Let's travel. Let's see. Let's the country and enjoy nature and then protect our Mother Earth, especially ang ating kalikasan sa Pilipinas. Salamat po at mabuhay kayo ating mga mag-aaral. Thank you!
Thank you, Prof. Dizer. So, I don't know, it's really interesting to see the relationship between fitness, health, and wellness with the environment. And given we benefit from it, we should also learn how to take care of it so that it's there for future generations. And also, I think na next sem, lalo pa pong tataas yung demand ng PE2 camping. Ayan. Okay. So, thank you very much again, Prof. Dizer. And we will now go to our second speaker for today. Our second keynote speaker is a professor of physics at the National Institute of Physics, UP Diliman, where she heads the Video and Image Processing Group. Her lab works on multidisciplinary problems that require developing hardware and software imaging solutions. To date, she has worked with parasitologists and computer scientists for malaria imaging, museum researchers for cultural heritage preservation, and sports scientists for video-based tracking of athlete performance, to name a few. For her multidisciplinary work in applied physics, she was awarded the 2015 Leaders in Innovation Fellowship by the UK Newton Fund and 2013 Outstanding Women in the Nation's Service Award. The work she will present today on coral reef assessment and visualization won for her team the 2018 Pictured R&D Award. Let's all give a virtual round of applause to Professor Maricor Soriano.
Good morning, everybody. Allow me to share my screen. Yan. Okay, so the title of my talk, can you hear me, is Under the Sea, Visualizing Coral Reefs in a Fast, Affordable Way. So I had a group known as Video and Image Processing Group. We call ourselves the VIP. It's a research lab that I put up back in 2004, pagbalik ko. So ito kami, mga students ko, mga advisees ko ay mga physics majors, pero nag-accept din ako ng mga students from other colleges and institutes. We do our research in the lab, and ang culmination ay ang thesis defense. In fact, itong mga kikwento ko sa inyo, karamihan dito thesis ng mga estudyante ko. I lead a very multidisciplinary group. What we do is video and image processing. So any agency or any group that needs image analysis or video analysis for their work, we offer our services. That's why sa introduction, I told you I've been working with museums, with sports. Shout out sa mga CHK students. Kilala ko si Sir Jeff Pagaduan, si Sir Robert. Yan, madalas ko silang katrabaho. Even forensics. So today I will talk about my work with my marine science friends, coral reef imaging. Coral reef monitoring. Anong ginagawa ng physicists sa coral reef? Nangyari yan kasi pagbalik ko from postdoc, I usually engage with other agencies and ask them, ano po ba ang maitutulong namin sa research nyo na regarding image and video processing? At yung nalapitan kong marine science, sabi niya, mahirap mag-monitor ng coral reefs. Matrabaho. Paano nga ba yun? But wait, ano nga ba muna ang coral reefs? Coral reefs are known as the forest of the sea. They are actually animals. They look like plants, but they are actually animals na may nakatirang plants sa balat nila called zooxanthellae. That is the one that gives them color. The hard corals form bony structures which eventually form the coral reefs. And through millennia, these coral reefs can become islands or atolls. Okay? They are known as the forest of the sea because they provide a lot of ecosystem services. For example, they provide coastal protection. So binabangga nila yung mga malalakas na alon. And they provide nurseries for juvenile fishes. And this can provide jobs for fisher folk because the small fish will congregate or the juvenile fish will congregate or will hide in the coral reefs. And pag may mga maliliit na isda, magdaratingan yung mga malalaking isda. Okay? Kakainin nila yung maliliit na isda. And therefore, merong kabuhayan ang fisher folk. And of course, katulad nga ng sabi ni Dizer, ecotourism. Magaganda mga coral reefs, magandang tanawin sila. And yes, sikat ang Philippines for ecotourism, particularly beaches natin ay number 1. Now here's the problem which can be thought of as an opportunity. I said earlier that coral reefs are the forest of the sea. And we need to monitor, just like our forest, we need to monitor our environmental resources to be able to manage them. Sa forest, madali lang. Kuha ka ng satellite imagery, makikita mo yung mga puno. Pero pagdating sa corals, they're under the sea and sometimes they're very deep. sometimes we can see them enough. No? So if the water is shallow, rather shallow, pwede pa natin silang hinag. For example, this is a satellite image, and we see the coastline, and algorithms are available that can process and tell us where are the mangroves, the seagrass, seaweeds, and the corals. But all of these require a validation. Kasi algorithms can fail. Okay? So, how are they validated? Ganito yung isang paraan kung paano nagbabalidate. People who are trained to look at corals are towed by a boat. So, hinahatak sila habang nakahawak sila sa isang board. Sisilip sila using a snorkel at titingnan nila kung ilan % ng coral cover. Okay? Yun lang nga, ang problema nito, walang permanent visual records. And among observers, pwedeng magkaiba-iba yung assessment nila. Therefore, ang nangyari is, nagkaroon ng need for a permanent visual records para pwedeng balikan yung data at para magkaroon ng baseline. Okay? So, ang ginagawa is, scuba divers with video or cameras, underwater videos or cameras, will take video or images of corals along transect line. You see this yellow tape here? Yan, binabalik-balikan nila every 6 months or so to check on the corals. But we know that, well, scuba diving is expensive dahil una muna kailangan mo ng lisensya, kailangan mo ng gear, and limited dahil yung scuba air or rather yung air sa tank ng scuba is rather limited. So, as you can see, the problem is monitoring coral reefs is labor-intensive. It can be inaccurate because if there are no permanent visual records, pwedeng mag-iba yung assessment. And then, if you're using scuba divers, then it's rather expensive. And in the case of immediate information, kunyari, now na, kailangan mo nang malaman kung ano yun. For example, this is a picture of the USS Guardian na nag-damage dun sa Tubataha. These techniques actually are slow. It takes, for the assessment ng video ng coral reefs, it usually takes the marine scientists and ecologists months to make an assessment. 1 or 2 months, up to 3. And then, ito naman yung situation natin, we are an archipelago, we have thousands of islands, and we have a lot of people, and we have the 5th longest coastline in the world. But among these many people of ours, 60% of them live in coastal communities. So malaki yung pressure sa mga coral reefs because, of course, there are people living side by side with these marine resources. And isa pang unique sa atin ay magkakalapit yung mga isla natin. So we have many small islands in close proximity, sometimes less than 10 kilometers isla na. And thus, marami tayong mga bangka. All across the Philippines, may kanya-kanyang design ng bangka. So for example, this is in Tawi-Tawi, yun may mga katig sa mga usually sa Luzon and Visayas yan. Okay? So we thought, yun yung challenge sa amin, how can we make coral reef monitoring fast and efficient and affordable? So we proposed to the Department of Science and Technology, me and my marine science friends proposed a system that can do that. Okay? Here are more bangka pictures. So, ang sabi namin, what if itow na lang, total marami naman tayong bangka, so itow na lang natin yung camera. Very simple idea, don't you think? Itow na lang natin yung camera. So, wala nang scuba diver, tapos, pwede pa tayong tumagal. So, that is indeed what we did. We proposed several platforms. This is a teardrop. Mukha kasi siyang teardrop from the side. And ito siya. You just put a camera inside, and it can be towed by a boat. And then we made several iterations of this design. And ang maganda dito, di yan napapagod. I mean, hindi limited sa scuba tank, air. So we can go on and on until maubos yung baterya ng camera. And yung pinaka-latest namin, this is torpedo, kasi mukha siyang torpedo. The camera is underneath. This is in Puerto Galera. Okay? pinaka-latest namin, medyo mukhang slick and professional, stainless steel na lahat. This is naman towfish. Okay? So you can put several instruments there, not only a GoPro, but may even a sides consumer. And again, may camera, no? So ito off-the-shelf to. So the idea is affordable siya. So pwedeng the design for the towfish is freely available. These cameras, underwater cameras, are also available. In fact, may mga knock-offs na ng GoPro na mas mura. Then you can just put them under the towable platform. You can have GPS on board the boat. Kasi importante, saan ba kinuha yung mga videos na yon? So, walang GPS sa ilalim ng tubig. Signal cannot pass through. But you can put your GPS on the boat. And where you tow, pwede siyang matrack. And now, yung mga phones natin, napaka-sophisticated na daig na itong mga GPS na ito na dating ginagamit namin. Even your cell phone camera have sophisticated global navigation system, GNSS. So they can get not only GPS but also GLONASS, Baidu, Galileo, yun sa iba't ibang bansa na satellites, global positioning satellites. Then what do we do with all these videos? Sabi namin, okay, let's make them into something understandable kasi puro video lang eh. So mas maganda kung naintindihan. We actually found out that there are stitching softwares ng video. Meron. Kaso nung trinay namin sa mga video namin, medyo palpak yung lumalabas. That's why we developed our own. So ito, thesis uli ng estudyante ko sa Pico and Stitch. Tignan nyo, yung mga auto-stitch, kunyari, ito yung mga available. Pag nagpasok kami ng 6-second video clip, ito yung lumalabas. Sabi namin, hindi pwede ito. It looks weird. Ito naman dun sa Microsoft Eyes. This is made by Microsoft na stitching software, panoramic stitching software. Ito naman, kahit diretso yung dinadaanan ng boat, baliko yung lumalabas at saka nagkakaroon ng color shift from red to blue. Hindi naman ganon. So we had to make our own because these existing panoramic software didn't work on underwater videos. And so ito na nga yung thesis ng estudyante ko, Kiko and Stitch kasi Francis yung pangalan niya. So we nicknamed this algorithm Kiko and Stitch. And as you can see, medyo mas matino yung Stitch. And you can see the individual frames kung saan sila nagdudugtong. So as a comparison, same video clip was fed to AutoStitch, to Microsoft Eyes, and to Kiko and Stitch. And as you can see, stable yun sa Kiko and Stitch. Another video clip, 6-second video clip. Ito. And Kiko and Stitch was a more stable output. So ito na yung na-develop namin na automated rapid reef assessment system, ARAS. And our idea is ganito. We can train fisherfolk or the local environmental management staff of the local government units to use the teardrop. So ilo-lower lang siya sa bangka, the GoPro is there, and the GPS is on the boat, and then naka-on na yung video, and then the boat will be moved, or rather will move kung saan nandun yung mga corals. And we will see in the video these video clips. With an extra battery pack on the GoPro, we can go 3 hours. 3 hours na sunod-sunod. And with several spare GoPros, we can take videos the whole day. Okay? And then, all these videos will be entered into the Kiko and Stitch program so that i-stitch na every 6 seconds of the video is stitch niya into a mosaic. And since may GPS information kami kung saan kinuha yung parts ng video, we can then stitch all of these into the Google Earth. So yan. So kung saan nakuha yung video na yon, yung stitch na yon, makikita namin kung anong na doon. So a demonstration is ganito. For example, pumunta kami ng Tawi-Tawi, dinemonstrate namin ito, kumuha kami ng video yung sa isang island, and then pre-process namin, and ito na siya. So anybody can who has this KMC file can click on any part here. Pag nag-click siya, lalabas kung ano yung naandun sa part na yon. So you can see, we even saw a turtle doon sa isang video. Okay? So we already gave this to the mayor of the town. And sabi nila, sometimes the numbers hindi importante sa kanila yung numbers. Mas importante sa kanila makita kung anong nasa ilalim. Kasi once nakita nila, ay, ang ganda pala ng ilalim natin, nagkakaroon sila ng sense of advocating for the coral reefs. Okay, nag-improve pa rin further yung ginagawa namin. So, pag meron pang budget, one can also install a side scan sonar. This is used for looking for fish. But what we have done is, kaya namin siyang itow and find out kung nasaan yung mga coral reefs away from the shore. Ito ay non-fringing reefs or offshore reefs. Okay? So pag inikot-ikot namin yung side scan sonar, nakikita namin kung saan magaspang, for sure may coral reef doon. Mas malayo siya sa shore kasi ito medyo mababaw pa to, so kita kahit sa satellite, pero itong mga other reefs na to, offshore reefs, medyo malalim na siya. Kaya hindi na siya talaga nakikita from the satellite. So kung ganoon, kailangan na ng side scan sonar. We also promoted the use of kites for instead of drones. Okay, so kite aerial photography. So you can fly a kite, put a GoPro there or a camera there. Okay, and madali lang, masayang magkalipad ng kite. Ito nga, nag-train nga kami ng mga DENR kung paano gumamit ng kite with a camera. Okay? And makikita mo, pag shallow lang yung yung waters, makikita mo talaga maraming coral reefs. Okay? Mukhang bloated yung image because of distortion, geometric distortion, pero madali lang yung i-correct. Now straight lines look straight. And then, pwede yun yung i-georeference. Basta meron kang mga palatandaan doon sa sea surface na pwede mong kunan ng GPS coordinates at i-georeference sa Google Earth. Nagawa namin yan. And ang masaya sa kite, unlike drone, hindi siya battery operated, wind operated. So basta may hangin, okay lang. Tapos ang problema naman sa drone, pag malakas ang hangin, mauubos agad yung baterya. And besides, masayang magpalipad ng kite. So these are fisher folk from Zambales na sila yung mga bantay dagat. So they are tasked and given an allowance to watch out for fisher folks who are fishing in no-take zones or marine protected areas. Sila yung taga-bantay. Okay, so tinuruan namin sila kung paano kumuha ng images from kite. So si kuya na mukhang bata pa na fisher folk ay tuwan-tuwang gumamit ng kite. And also si tatay na medyo matanda na. Ito nga, nagla-lunch kami sabi niya, papalipad na ako ng kite. So gusto niya magpalipad ng kite. So old and young people enjoy flying the kite and they can easily do that themselves. Okay, so itong mga techniques na to ay shinare na namin with a lot of users and in fact, na-donate na namin din yung mga equipment. So, tinuruan namin sila kung paano gawin yung technology at dinonate na rin namin yung technology sa kanila. And as of late, we have covered 2,500 kilometers of coastlines out of 10,000 kilometers na purported to have coral reefs. And we did not do it ourselves alone. Marami, for each of these places, kinausap namin yung mga local government, yung mga universities na may marine science, yung mga NGOs na nangangalaga ng yung mga DNR offices nila, and we collaborated with them. Okay? So, and this is a product of this collaboration. We made coral atlases, etc. Oh, by the way, how much time do I have left? I can go on and on. Do I still have time?
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Ilang minutes pa ba ako?
Actually, you've exceeded 2 minutes, but okay lang, we have extra time po.
Sige. Exceeded na pala, sorry Marami pa sana itong slides but I can stop soon. So ito we have built coral atlases, okay? And coral albums so that people can flick through this album and see what do they have in their place. And we've even used deep learning. I've exceeded my time, so I'll just pass through. Dahil marami kaming data na nakuha, we've been using this data to automatically assess the corals. So I'll just go through these slides very quickly. Ang mga marine scientists kasi, they need to classify the underwater objects into these classes para masabi nila, oh, maraming corals dyan, or abiotic dyan, or walang buhay dyan, etc. So because of the massive amount of data that we have, we run this through deep learning, and now we can form these maps which tell nasaan ang corals, ano yung state ng mga corals. Like, for example, and validated na to, as in, tinignan rin namin exactly where they are, and ano talaga yung nandun, and validated na. So here's, for example, a map. And all of these have been shared with DENR and with the local governments of those places. Dahil kasama sila sa pag-data gather. Okay, I'll skip through this Tubataha grouting incident. I just need to tell you na ito yung isa sa ating UNESCO World Heritage Site. May sumudsad doon na USS Guardian Navy ship. Kami yung team na tinawag para i-measure yung grounding damage. Dahil, alam nyo ba, sa batas, may bayad. Kapag nakaka-damage ka ng coral reefs, may fine yan. And the US government was fined. Ito yung total area damaged. And the process that we did that, it was with the US Navy. Nakakatawa nito, nung ginagawa namin itong assessment na to, may sumadsad na naman na ship, Chinese vessel naman. So, madaling tandaan, by the way, yung area na damage sa Tubataha noong January na yon. 234,567. Ito yung 2,345.67 square meters yung na damage, and we got a sizable amount from the US government out of fines. Ang problema, nung April 8 of 2013, habang ginagawa namin yung assessment, may sumadsad na naman na na bangka, and this time it's a Chinese fishing vessel. So saktong-sakto na nandun kami, nag-measure na naman kami ng grounding damage. Okay? So sumadsad siya, tapos naalon siya, tapos ayun, lalo niyang nakaskas yung mga corals dyan. Mas dumami yung damage. Ito yung itsura ng mga nakuha namin images na corals na nabasag, na kaskas, and na-measure din namin yung damage dyan. Ito naman, mas malaki, 3,902 square meters. All in all, these research of my students led to several awards, and in fact, some of my students put up a company in Tipara. So mga takeaways ko lang before I end, coral reefs are the forests of the sea. They provide a host of ecosystem services, coastal protection, food, and jobs. Reefs, like forests, need to be monitored to be managed properly. Innovative, affordable, and fast solutions exist for coral reef monitoring, and these techniques have been shared with the local stakeholders. These data were gathered together with them. Hindi lang kami gumagawa. Dapat sila para ma-advocate nila. And the technologies presented here were proudly made by students from different fields, from physics, computer science, mechanical engineering, and marine science. Yan lang po. Thank you very much for your attention. This is our family picture after assessing the Tubataha grounding damage with most of our partners. Ito na yung funding sources, acknowledging the early adopters and the funding sources and my collaborators. Okay. Thank you very much, and I'll be happy to get your questions. Thank you.
So, thank you, Dr. Soriano, for the informative talk. So it just goes to show how science and technology can be used to contribute to environmental preservation. So it's really cool to see how multidisciplinary data science can be applied to the Philippine context. So now, to deepen our understanding of the presented concepts and raise some interesting discussion points, we will now have a brief panel discussion. So for the panel discussion, we will have, again, Dr. Soriano. And on behalf of Prof. Dizer, we will have Prof. Ian Logan from the CHK. And may I also introduce the two panelists and the moderator who will be joining them today. Dr. Mylene G. Cayetano is a professor and scientist currently working at the Institute of Environmental Science and Meteorology as tenured professor and head of the Environmental Pollution Studies Laboratory. She obtained her Ph.D. in Environmental Science and Engineering at the Gwangju Institute of Science and Technology in South Korea. She holds a productive research career, serving as project leader and consultant for various environmental science research projects within and outside the Philippines, and is a primary or co-author of over 30 publications. Next, Dr. Carmela Española has been closely involved in wildlife conservation efforts in the Philippines. She started as a volunteer with the Philippine Endemic Species Conservation Project in Northwest Panay, where she was introduced to the study of birds and biodiversity. After a year of volunteering as a science teacher in Holo, Sulu, she took on an exploratory project in this rarely studied island for Fauna and Flora International. This stint inspired the thesis she wrote on the birds of Capwal Island in Jolo for a master's degree in wildlife sciences. While doing graduate work under the Russell E. Train Education for Nature Fellowship of WWF, she took on several volunteer jobs, one of which was with the Babuyan Islands expedition in 2004. This expedition resulted in the discovery of the Calayan rail, a new species of near-flightless bird that is endemic to the island of Calayan in the northernmost tip of the Philippines. She finished her Ph.D. on the population and ecology of avian frugivores in Luzon at Manchester Metropolitan University, UK. She co-founded the Wild Bird Club of the Philippines, which is now the fastest growing and most active recreational birdwatching organization in the Philippines. She's currently in the faculty of the Institute of Biology, University of the Philippines, Diliman, and heads the Terrestrial Research in Ecology and Evolution Laboratory. Finally, our moderator for today is Mr. Don Vito Briones, an instructor at the Institute of Mathematics. After the panel discussion, Sir Dom will also be taking questions from the students. I now give the floor to our panelists and moderator.
Hi, thanks Sam for the introduction. Good morning, professors. It's nice to meet all of you. Thanks for joining us today to share your expertise. Just to set some expectations, I'll try to lead us to some questions, some general, some specific, and we'll just have a conversation with each other and we'll just freely share our thoughts. We've already received some questions, but we'll go through some of them later on. Okay, so for now, this is just us. So nature is great. It's for the ecological relevance, a source of livelihood, a place of community, recreation, things like this. But what kind of policies do we have in place for creating and preserving our environmental spaces, like our reefs or our camping spots, nature reserves? Ano yung mga safeguards, mga methods na nandyan para ma-ensure na yung mga spaces natin, lalo yung mga open sa public, ay hindi madadamage o ma-exploit? Naging effective ba yung mga ganyan? Paano sila in-enforce? Yes, please.
Okay. We have what are known as marine protected areas. So all local governments have a designated area in the marine resource na pwedeng no-take zone. Hindi pwedeng doon ng isda because noted siya na, for example, paitlugan ng isda. And katulad nga ng sabi ko, the people, the community themselves are tasked to take care of these marine protected areas. So that's why may mga bantay dagat. So that's one. And actually, mukhang okay naman kasi marami na tayong marine protected areas. Yun yung isa sa mga alam ko.
Yes. We actually have, we acknowledge that in the Philippines, we have 70 identified marine protected areas. And whenever we promote outdoor recreation, especially in these areas, we want to make sure that our participants embrace the principles like the leave no trace na sinabi ni Prof. Dizer kanina. And aside from that, there are laws that are strictly implemented by the local government units, no? Among which especially is the Sustainable Tourism Initiative na Save Our Spots. Kasama dito yung pag-allow ng pag-establish ng mga protected areas, no? Establishment of forest reserves for national benefit, emphasizing the protection of public lands since 1975, no? Yung Presidential Decree number 705, series of 1975. In terms of promoting naman safe spaces and for recreational use, meron tayong subdivision open space provision, Presidential Decree 1216, which requires subdivision owners to allocate spaces for parks or recreational use, ensuring accessible areas for outdoor activities. So ito kailangan i-push ng mga local government units. In fact, nape-penalize din yung mga nagva-violate, no, such ng mga nakakasira ng mga flora natin, no, particularly mga trees. So later on, I will be sharing pala to the body, to everyone, how important the laws, the set of laws that are present, and to create an awareness that baka kasi hindi lahat ay alam na hindi basta-basta pwedeng magputol ng kahoy, ng punong kahoy, no, sa ating lokal, along the roads or in public parks. So when we do our recreational activities in areas that are protected, we really have to strictly abide by these laws. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, ma'am, please.
Siguro na-cover na lahat ng mga marine protected areas. We also have protected areas, terrestrial naman, no? So that's under the RA 7586 or the NIPAS Act. So National Integrated Protected Area System. So areas with critical habitats or areas with mga special na significance culturally, those are protected, no? Well, not all of them, I would have to say, because there are many wild areas that are still not protected, no? That contain a lot of species that are threatened, no? So another law that would be important for this is the Wildlife Act or RA 9147. So this one, it protects species, all wildlife, no? Kaya medyo na-disturb ako doon in one of the photos that was shown by Sir Dizer. There was a kid in the photo na he was holding a monkey. So medyo sabi ko, ala, pero yun nga, hindi dapat siyang hinahawakan yung mga wildlife. Kasi if you own it, if you have even parts of wildlife, let's say feathers or scales or any part of it, or derivatives, no, that's not allowed by law. So yun, and there are also other laws that that protect wildlife from being traded internationally and locally, you know, CITES naman yun. But aside from NIPAS, there are other protected areas that are not under the national protected area system. So these are locally declared protected areas, no? Meron yan. For example, in Calayan Island, where we discovered the Calayan Rail, we lobbied for the local government to declare some parts of the forest as protected for the benefit of this particular rail. And yun nga yung nangyari. People were not allowed to hunt the bird, to destroy the habitat of the bird doon sa area na yun na protected, no? Siguro yun na lang, caves as well, no? Some caves are actually protected. So may mga spelunking na mga activities in some caves are not allowed, no? Because of important species that are found in the caves.
Yes, please. Okay, done.
I agree with our discussants today, especially when we all mention about protected areas. Cumulatively, these are environmentally critical areas that are being protected by the Environmental Management Bureau. And I also have to emphasize that establishing a tourism spot or a recreational area, regardless if it's indoor or outdoor, when someone establishes it, it's already considered a formal establishment or a formal industry. And if it's a formal industry, before the establishment, it must comply with the with the EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, which is the guidelines is stated in PD, Presidential Decree 1586, which is the Philippine Environmental Impact Statement System, wherein an establishment must apply and secure an environmental compliance certificate from the government. So there are several projects that should comply with the PD 1586 and must secure ECC. And part of the development projects nga na binanggit ni Ma'am Maricor, ni Ma'am Lala, are these projects that will be established in protected areas. Kasi there are categories of projects covered by the Philippine EIS system. Category A is the environmentally critical projects. These are the extractive industries, yung mga mining, yung mga makakasira dun sa environment that will potential cause negative impact sa environment. Pero meron ding mga projects that are not environmentally critical pero has the potential to cause negative impact to the environment because the project will be located to environmentally critical areas or ECA. So in my opinion, the recreational activities, the outdoor activities that we are discussing this morning will fall under this category B. And if the industry, the ecotourism industry would like to establish an ecotourism park or outdoor activity in these protected areas, they must first secure an ECC para makakomply sa mga environmental laws.
Thank you so much sa pag-share ng inyong mga thoughts. It's reassuring knowing that these kinds of things are in place and to hear all of your stories in different fields. And pardon my naivete kasi hindi ito yung aking area of expertise. Pero let's see. So I'm sure there's no easy answers for all of these things, even if the policies are in place, yung enforcement nila, yung pag-monitor dito consistently. These are challenges that involve many people. It's very interdisciplinary, requires a lot of cooperation, planning from both the local at saka non-local community, expert, institution, and so on. Just so we can also hear a bit more from our panel, since we've already heard a bunch from Dr. Soriano and her very interesting talk, of which I also have some more questions later on, and also from the CHK. Maybe we can hear some of the highlights from your own projects. Could you share some of your favorite moments, maybe some unexpected highlights working with others in your diverse work environments? Would anyone like to? Yes, Dr. Cayetano.
So I think Dr. Lala Española already shared something earlier. So quickly, I'm the head of Environmental Pollution Studies Laboratory, and my recent favorite project right now is called Tribe, that Taytay River Initiative for a Better Environment. So I'm heading a project funded by the DOST. This is a community-based project wherein we recognize that there is one urban creek here near Metro Manila that is chronically dead, as in settlements on the banks, on the creek side, and heavily polluted by domestic waste. Lahat ng mga septic nakarekta sa creek. And this creek is upstream of Laguna de Bae, Taytay River, and then Laguna de Bae, where in Laguna de Bae we get most of our aquatic, fish resources, yung bangus and tilapia. So this project is one of my favorite because nakaroot kami sa community itself. The problem that we identified is yung tao yung problema, human settlement yung may problem. Because more often than not, kapag merong environmental issues, pagbaha, pollution, pagkakasakit, laging nasisisi yung government, pero hindi nare-recognize that we are also part of the problem. The mere fact that our house is located near the river or the creek. Maganda yung sinabi kanina ni Doc Maricor, yung environmental ecosystem services, no? Kailangan ma-recognize ng mga tao that kahit na maliit na creek, ang katabi natin, meron siyang environmental and ecosystem services. And this project that I'm leading, medyo hindi yun na-recognize for the longest time, for 2 decades or so, kaya chronically dead yung river. So yon, that's my favorite project, and we are empowering the community. First, letting them know that we have a problem, and the problem is us. So we need to be part of the solution. And if there's the problem, if we are the problem, we can be part of the solution. So medyo may pagka-abstract, pero yung details noon baka mapahaba tayo ng story. But yeah. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Doc. Maybe I could also share. So a couple of years ago, nag-volunteer ako. There's a small park sa may Madoc, sa may Manila Doctors, Aroseros Park. I think they're shutting it down very sadly. But it used to be, it's a small park with lots of trees, and ginagamit siya for psychosocial support for people who've had rough times in their lives na hindi ko pa disclose. And it was just really nice to have that space there, and to have a community there that cares for each other, and the place itself. And yeah, it's a challenge to maintain it. It's really heartbreaking to be there, to know it's a place that people come together, and then makita mo yung garbage na kalat lang doon, that you really see that people are both benefiting and part of the solution and also the problem. So we're all connected in this way. So we're in a bit of a bind here. We could talk about this forever in our work for such a long time, but we have limited amount of time here. So let's try and go through some of the questions we have from our students, of which there are many. So I'll just try and pick some semi-randomly. So here, it was mentioned earlier, we have multiple projects, activities, and organizations we can participate in to contribute to preserving our natural environment. But aside from these, ano po ang mga other efficient ways to contribute to this collective goal individually, kahit hindi tayo part ng mga environmental groups? So that's a question from Blanca Versosa.
Magandang tanong yan, ano, Dom?
Yeah.
Because we can actually make our little approaches more granular and scalable within the ambit of our influence. No, you can start doing your as students. We can probably do our own research on what kind of protective measures we could use, no, such as planting the right species in our topography, no? And in fact, later on I will be sharing, I don't want to preempt, but everyone is legally obliged to plant, no, to plant trees. And the other thing is to reduce your use of or yung mga dangerous, ecologically dangerous materials, no, such as yung mga plastics natin. Yan, if it's possible na invest na plastic ang gamitin, yung mga biodynamic, biodegradable materials, no. And another thing is when it's inevitable to use it, where do you put it? No, there's a proper waste segregation, proper waste disposal system. No, whenever we do our business, whenever we do our daily transactions, you might want to be more mindful of what is ecologically damaging or not. Diba? What alternatives do you have so that at your level, you can do a healthier lifestyle, and share this as an advocacy to your circle of friends. So perhaps you could do the same. No, just like in CHK, we do have sports areas where it's lawn, it's grass, but we want to make sure that we compensate that around it, around the perimeter areas are greens. So in fact, we have an eco garden now at the College of Human Kinetics. It's just beside Area 2. Yeah, and during the pandemic lockdown, it has been a source of food for the community. We've been donating saluyot, we've been donating papaya, tanglad for their tinola, and yes, chickens are there, free range, to serve as natural pest control. or organic, walang mga chemical fertilizers or pesticides. So they are also, the community around it are also assured that the produce of the garden are organic. So a healthier lifestyle, which is healthy for you, healthy for the environment, and perhaps it could be a good advocacy to your that you can share with your loved ones.
Thank you, sir. Oh, Dr. Soriano, please.
In my last takeaway slide, I said yung thesis to ng mga students ko from physics, engineering, marine science, ganyan. But kahit ano pa man yung iyong course, meron at meron kang magagawa. Not everybody will end up a scientist kahit College of Science pa man siya, or not everybody will end up as an engineer kahit galing siya sa College of Engineering. But since now you know this knowledge, you can use whatever is in your power to advocate for the environment. If you're an artist, go ahead and donate your time to create posters about the environment. If eventually you become a politician, well, go ahead and advocate for the environment in your laws. So we have whatever is in your power, kung ano man magagawa mo in your power to do whatever it is for the environment, you can do it.
Thank you, ma'am. In relation to this, later on, I also have some questions about your project. But in relation to what you said, the CEHK are here, and so are many students from the College of Science. So here's a bit more of a specific question. What kind of projects do you have planned right now that might need hands from other disciplines? Ito yung time na mag-advertise kayo ng mga projects niyo if you have some.
Wala pang funding, pero in fact in the next starting Wednesday to Friday, we will have a workshop on natural capital accounts, meaning assessing ano ba ang mga natural resources natin, particularly sa coral reefs. So, I'll let you know kung meron ng funding. Hirap mag-promise eh. Baka ma-disappoint yung mga students kung walang funding.
I-email nyo lang po sa amin sa mga organizers and we can forward to the students who might be
yes, absolutely. Interested. But right now, you can do a lot. Like, yun na nga, choose biodegradable over plastic. That's one.
Thank you, Doc. For the others, do you have any projects you might want to advertise?
I have an upcoming project on avian influenza surveillance in Candaba. So we will be catching a lot of birds and we will be swabbing them, and we will try to see whether they have avian influenza or not, because the surrounding countries in the Philippines, mga the countries surrounding it, they all have had avian influenza identified already. Sa atin wala. So we think that people are not reporting mass deaths. So we think there's that element of fear na if they report it, they will be required to cull their domestic fowls, no? Anyway, so I'll also let you know once matuloy na, pero that's slated for next year pa naman. So, thank you.
Okay. So, for my project, pero before I forget, you asked Vito about collective effort in our simple ways as individual. I'm a strong advocate of clean air. I'm an air quality expert. So for individuals, especially mga nagpupunta sa UP face-to-face, and if you have cars or kung may chauffeur kayo, please tell your drivers kapag hihintayin kayo na matapos sa class, please don't idle. Stop the engine kung maghihintay ng more than 1 minute, more than 1 minute na hintayan, stop agad ang engine kasi ang dami naming nauhuli sa paligid na naka-idle, and it's causing a lot of air pollution dito sa ating napakalinis na campus. We are mapping, sabi nga ni Dr. Maricor, we need to measure the environment para malaman natin how to manage it. During the pandemic, I have a project dito sa UP funded by the ECWRG to monitor the environmental quality of UP, and napakalinis ng hangin natin dito during the pandemic kasi walang katao-tao. Pero during the transition na nag-open na tayo, nakakita na naman kami ng may itim na usok sa aming mga filter papers. So, this is because of the footprint from our students, from our guests coming in, bringing in their vehicles. So in your own little way, please sabihan niyo mga tatay, mga driver, wag mag-idle. And kung dito lang naman malapit, you can use bike, pero syempre with safety precautions. So that's the collective effort. And then sa project yun nga, meron akong ongoing mga projects sa air quality monitoring, and this is together with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Environmental Management Bureau, wherein we are monitoring and measuring the quality of air nationwide. So malalaman namin kung which region yung pinaka-polluted, may chemical fingerprints, and saan nanggaling yung emissions. So I would like to advocate for clean air, and as early as now, we know that the emissions from transport sector, mobile emissions, yung mga sasakyan, ang number 1 polluters sa mga syudad. Pero sa mga probinsya, ang number 1 polluters are, guess what? Pagsisiga, burning, open burning. And please advocate for no burning, advocate for low emission zones as well. So use of efficient cooking, clean cooking, iwasan ng pagsisiga. And lalo na kung may mga outdoor activities, camping, ay tama yung sinabi ni Professor Dizer kanina na yun, low impact camping. And 7 principles of leave no trace. So yun, if we will advocate for that and we will embed it in our individual mantra, and then environmentalists na tayo. Yes, back
Thank you, Doc. Anyone else? Would you like to share? Okay. So we have lots and lots of questions, which is great. So from our students, they're really eager. So out here, there's a bunch. Yes, this one's a bit more specific for Dr. Soriano. So they're interested about your project. So paano nyo po i-model yung mga, or paano nyo dinevelop yung design ng inyong torpedo, yung through the iterations? Ito ba ay parang practical nyo lang dinesign from the get-go? Minomodel nyo ba muna siya in the lab, in silico? Or paano nyo po siya ino-optimize for on how it works?
Full disclosure, itong design na pala na to, meron na before we even started. We first had our initial design. Pero kaya nga, we share this freely because it's not ours. People have been designing a towable platform. So, yung aming secret sauce ay yung nasa software. So, iyon yung dinevelop namin in-house. But that's why we're donating torpedo, towfish, even the designs of the towfish we're donating. Because it's open. So, yun yung short answer doon. It's actually freely open.
Oh, thank you, Doc. Actually, that's from a student. Yung for mine, I was actually curious about yung inyong stitching software. So, kita yung limitations dun sa other proprietary software na trainan nyo for the image stitching. So, paano na-resolve ng student yung mga concerns na yun for your own in-house na software?
The stitching software that were available were for it's very mathematics. Actually, we can spend a whole day discussing this. Pero the transformations, I'll try to make it short. The transformations assumed in those stitching software were very general. Pero sabi namin, hey, pag pinatow lang ito ng bangka, dire-diretso lang yan. So alisin natin yung rotation. Pwede ng translation lang na transformation. So affine transformation, yung sa mga math dyan, affine transformation, basta translation lang pwede. A little bit of rotation, pwede. So tinanggal namin yung complication na yun, mas maganda yung result.
Oh, thank you, Doc. Oh, here, there's so many questions here. Ito, a bit more general, so we can all participate in. As we've mentioned, we've talked about a lot about our projects, yung mga nagawa natin, mga things that we found interesting, some of the highlights. Pero ano yung mga challenges na na-encounter natin sa mga project natin? Paano natin siya ni-resolve? And what are some of the things we can still improve on dito sa mga na-encounter natin, mga challenges? So this is a very general question, but I think this is something a lot of us can really share in. Ano yung mga challenges na na-encounter po natin? And paano natin siya na-resolve in our interdisciplinary works?
May gusto ko magsimula.
Yes, sorry.
Sige, ako. Sige.
Yes, sure, Dr. Soriano.
Challenges. When we scientists or engineers develop a technology, akala natin, iyon na, no? Ito ang solusyon sa problema nitong lugar na to. Okay. Yabang natin, ano? Akala natin we know everything. It turns out, may factor yung acceptance ng end user. So even though we think we have the most appropriate, the best solution, hindi rin yan mag-work kung walang acceptance from the end user. So ang number one na lesson learned from all of these projects of mine is always involve the end user in your design. Okay? So in fact, that's the reason why when we go to a place, we tell them the technology, and when we ask them, ano po ba yung sa tingin nyo, magagamit nyo po ba to? Ano sa tingin nyo? Ano po bang ma-improve pa natin? Because of that, they will have a sense of ownership. Nag-contribute sila sa pag-design ng technology, naggamit nila mismo yung technology, na kapag discuss sila, pwede nyo bang ayusin to ng better, ganyan. And they will feel that they own the technology. So, number one lesson is always involve the end user in your design.
Thank you, Doc. It's very empowering, no? At saka they feel a sense of responsibility, parang sa kanila din talaga galing.
Yes.
Sorry, Dr. Española.
Yeah. Well, my experience doing conservation work in the Babuyan Islands was also fraught with challenges, no? We had to work with so many people, educators. We had to talk to the church so that they could include it in their mga, teachings, yung about conservation. Local government, the politicians, we had to work with them, POs, NGOs, scientists, artists as well when we do our environmental education program. So the challenges that we face had to do with the personal interests that came into play doon sa pag-conserve ng area. Kasi we had politicians who were also the ones doing logging. Businessmen who were also doing illegal activities. Now, how do you even start to work when you're supposed to be partners are not there? No, they're not on board with the project that you're doing. So it was quite hard, no? But we had support from the ground. No, we tried so much to involve the local people in what we were doing. So with their increased knowledge about conservation, about the impacts of forest laws and all that, sila na mismo yung nagsalita, no, we cannot allow, the forest to be destroyed. We cannot allow logging to continue and all that. So, yun yung experience namin. And also there was poverty everywhere. I mean, how do you even tell them na it's a priority to declare an area protected na you won't be able to access it for hunting. No? So, mahirap siya. So anyway, it was difficult, but there was also a lot of support from the ground. We had to build over time. So slowly, naayos naman, may protected area na doon sa island ng Calayan. And yung church mismo was very vocal about their support of the work that we were doing. And kakatuwa, yung mga bata, may mga slogan contest, kakatuwa, may mga jingle sila na nabuo about conservation. Anyway, it was difficult, but there was a lot of work from everyone na tumulong talaga, no? You couldn't say na isang grupo lang ang gumawa ng trabaho kasi everyone really helped. Oo, yun lang siguro for now. I have so many examples, pero
thank you, Doc.
micro
Yeah,
example.
hand in hand lang po talaga, and one step at a time. Yeah. Yes, please, Dr. Cayetano.
Uh, um, one of the major challenge in working in environmental pollution studies is yung realization ng tangible output. Kasi unang-una, problema yung hinaharap namin, pollution. Pero masosolve ba yon by our technologies in the project lifetime? So, lalo na kung maraming mga detalye na hindi namin na-foresee. So, na-underestimate yung scope and limitation ng problema. Lalo na kung ang problema is pollution galing sa community. So, that's one major challenge that we are facing in doing environmental pollution studies. Lalo na sa air and water. And how we solve it, tama si Dr. Maricor, si Dr. Carmela, na involve yung community from the start, from the beginning of conceptualizing the community. And also capacity building ng local government kasi after the project duration, the funding duration, sila yung ina-expect na magko-continue. Kaya kailangan sa umpisa pa lang on board na ang ating communities.
Yeah. Thank you po sa mga thoughts nyo. Just a bit more lighthearted ngayon. So, and for we've been talking about this, the environment of the work that we've been doing, but something a bit more concrete. Ano yung mga favorite parang mga hidden gems na parang green spots natin here in the Metro Manila? So I know a lot of my friends who go camping and stuff like this, but here in the Metro proper, for people who are a bit more, let's say, not as attached to the environment in their day-to-day, ano yung mga places na pwede nilang ma-visit na mga green spots to really reconnect with nature? May mga alam ba kayong, aside syempre sa university? Yes, Dr. Soriano.
Yung sasabihin ko UP Diliman pa lang. Ang dami.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, sir, Ian?
Yes, Dop. Mamaya, kasama sa mga slides ko actually itong highly recommended area natin na hindi naman na tayo kailangang lumayo pa sa ating city, no? Within Quezon City ay meron tayong watershed na kailangang proteksyonan, yung Lamesa.
Yeah.
At it's within Quezon City. It's the only forest of its size na talagang nangangailangan ng support, no, in terms of reforestation and opportunity to appreciate yung 150 plus na native species of trees na existing doon, at kailangan natin proteksyonan itong mga trees na to so that even within our area in UP Diliman na lang, no, we have the eco garden that's now being developed continuously by NSTP students of CHK collectively. So aside from our individual projects, meron kaming class project na all sections of NSTP classes within the college put together efforts, studies, and initiatives that will develop and enable all students to contribute, no, and comply with the law. Now, bakit complying with the law? Kasi actually part din ng magiging presentation ko later as part of info dissemination is that the mandate that tells us that every Filipino citizen should plant a tree at least once a year kung ito in observance of the National Arbor Day, or in compliance to this proposal, hindi pa naman siya 100% law, na dapat bawat kabataan as young as 12 years old should be able to plant a tree to help in our efforts to make our country much greener, di ba? So and also mitigate the threats, lalo na sa mga species that are endemic to us. No, may mga critically endangered Philippine endemic trees na na kailangan nating i-propagate, no? I-support yung seedling propagation nito and its planting. So, lamesa is a highly recommended spot where we could it's just near us, and we could also allow our students to exercise their responsibility insofar as complying with this law is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Very
Favorite
interesting. Yes.
spot?
Okay.
Yeah,
Welcome.
favorite
Apo.
spot or environmental awareness? Okay. If familiar kayo sa sa Antipolo, go to the highest peak sa Antipolo, which is the Cloud 9, or yung part doon sa basta papunta doon sa Cloud 9, and then take a photo of the skyline of Metro Manila early morning and late in the afternoon. So makikita nyo doon yung kapal ng smog or haze na nagko-cover sa Metro Manila on a daily basis. And that is for us to raise the environmental awareness on air pollution. To raise awareness on the impacts of human settlements naman sa ating water system, just mag-drive kayo from Libis, Eastwood, papunta sa Manggahan Floodway, yung Manggahan Floodway na road, East Bank and West Bank. And obviously, you can see the impact of human settlements on our waterways. As you drive along there from Eastwood, Manggahan Floodway, papunta sa C6. So, yun yung mga practical ways na we can raise awareness on the environmental issues. And another favorite spot naman, if you are a biker and you want to commute safely, biking from work to home or from school, from home to school, then you can take yung Quezon City, maganda yung bike pathways ng QC, protected, most of those that are going dun sa major downtown natin. And then, if you're from the east naman, you can take the Ortigas, meron din siya mga bike lanes, pero some of the lanes are not protected, pero tsaga-tsaga lang, no? Julia Vargas Street has a very well-protected bike lane, bike path, and also C5. Nasemplang ako nung Monday sa C5. I'm going from Rizal to ADB. I took the bike lanes. Kahit nasemplang ako dun sa part ng C5, hindi naman ako nasagasaan kasi merong bike lane. So, lakas lang ng loob, laban lang. If you want to really advocate for clean air, use your bicycles. These are the favorite spots that I have in mind.
Perfect.
Yes, so, Dr. Española, ano po yun?
Siguro, although you mentioned it has to be a place outside of UP Diliman, I think I'd like to emphasize what a beautiful campus we have, and that there are so many places to see wildlife in the campus. I'm a bird watcher, and I've seen so many endemic species in the campus alone. No? We have owls, we have nightjars, we have orioles. Sobrang dami, no? Every day may nagbibisita doon sa College of Science na office na oriole na nagtatap ng window ni Dean Gani. So, I mean, they're everywhere. It just takes a different set of eyes to be able to appreciate all of these, no? May kaibigan ako na entomologist. Ang dami ring mga insects na nahanap sila na endemic, na kakaiba. So, Diliman lang. No, you don't even have to go far. There are so many different frogs pa lang, and bats that are super beautiful, no? Ang ganda-ganda nila. Yun lang, if we don't know these animals and these habitats, no, we won't have a sense of parang care for them, no? We won't be able to care for them. Kaya that's what I do. I always take out my students outside kasi karamihan sa kanila mga bano. Alam nila, mga giraffe, ostrich, lion, tiger. They don't even know about the native species that we have, no? Once, ito, totoong kwento, dinala ko estudyante graduating na sa biology degree niya. Dinala ko sa field. Sabi ko, ay, ang ganda-ganda, dami-daming pinya. Ay, pineapple pala yan, sabi niya. So, sabi ko, ano pa yan? Alam niya, pineapple nandun sa puno, nag-grow. Or something like that. I mean, things like that disconnect people from nature. Yung living in the city. So it's important that we retain all these green spaces that we have around us and try to protect them in order to showcase what we have in terms of biodiversity. No, yun lang siguro dagdag ko. Kasi importante na may UP Diliman tayo. Laking bagay talaga. Other universities don't have that. No? I don't even have to go far to bring my students to see wildlife. No? Oo. Okay.
Thank you, Doc. Just to share, ang nakarelate po ako doon kasi I like to walk. Parang I walk 30 minutes to work. Tapos yung may path po papuntang Math sa may Velasquez, yung madulas na path na almost every time na dumadaan ako, muntik na madulas. Pero yung, meron po doon mga occasion na makita ko yung mga wildlife na very interesting. Kaya hindi ko alam kung ano sila, yung a really strange looking insect, really strange looking bug. Tapos magtitake lang ako na mag-time na mag-stop and then mag-take ng photo. Then may isip ko, oh, sana bago to, gano'n. Pero
may
syempre,
firefly pa
parang paasa
dyan.
lang.
Yeah. May firefly
po.
pa dito. Yes. Just behind ISM. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, since we were given a bunch more time, curious po ako, I think baka si Dr. Cayetano or anyone really, curious po ako, paano po natin hinahandle actually yung waste natin dito sa Metro Manila? So sometimes nakikita ko yung garbage na lying around lang, like yung sa KNL or sa Maginhawa, nakatambak lang siya dyan and then i-collect. Sometimes I see trash cans na sinosort yung garbage, pero even then, I don't actually see the garbage sa loob nila actually sorted. Ano lang, parang name suggestion lang na biodegradable at saka non-biodegradable. Paano actually pinaprocess yung rubbish natin dito sa Metro Manila? I don't actually know.
Well, we rely entirely on our government for the collection system. And the government, meron silang mga private haulers, yung swims. And the private haulers bring them to landfills kung saan may open na landfills. So, yun yung malaking problem natin kasi I agree with you, Vito, na hindi nga segregated yung mga trash kasi nandun pa rin ang mga individuals, yung mga households sa konsepto na problem out of sight, problem out of mind. Pero once na nakolekta na tong basura and nasa private collectors na and they dump it in the landfill, minsan yung iba kapag illegal, nilalagay lang nila sa open field. So, we still have the landfill pa rin yung pag-process ng ating ng ating waste because sa batas bawal yung incineration under the RA 8749 or Clean Air Act. But actually, technically, it just mentioned incineration related to open burning. But the batas doesn't actually prohibit the use of technology in managing solid waste. So I wish we have the other technologies na marami na, I mean, meron naman mga waste to energy facilities na medyo nag-open na yung ating government and industry for that. However, we need to be also on guard sa mga waste to energy facilities so that strictly compliant, lalo na sa Clean Air Act. So I hope mas marami pang WTE para dun sa natin, sa mga garbage natin. But still landfill pa rin tayo.
Thank you, Doc. Now I know. Oh, we're going to be transitioning to ask a bit more of the students on what they thought and their reflections. But since we have a bit of maybe 5 or so minutes, let's give an opportunity for these students to ask their questions like in person for those who might be interested. So if you'd like to ask your question in person, please raise your hand here on the Zoom and our tech team can highlight you and spotlight you so you can ask your question. And if you have any other questions pala while we are sharing our insights and stuff like this, please use the Q&A button here on the Zoom. Okay, so maybe a bit shy. So, yes?
Maganda. Magandang araw po. May gusto sana po ang tanungin.
Clyde.
Go ahead, Clyde. Clyde is my student.
Kinagagalat ko pa silang lahat makilala. Tawag din bakit pala po may tupa yung yung CS po? Madalas ko nakikita nanginginain ng mga ito doon sa may sa doon sa may parang doon sa may CS.
Ma'am Lala, ikaw na ba?
Sige, ako na lang. Kasi naalala ko dati, nung time na pinag-uusapan yan, we were thinking of a way to control yung grass na growth by using the natural way, which is having animals go and feed on the grass. So, yun lang naman. Very simple. Para lang na ma-reduce yung taas ng grass doon sa CS na area. Pero hindi rin yan ng mga tupa kasi hanggang ngayon, gumagamit pa rin ng grass cutter. Oo. Pero ang reason bakit tupa at saka hindi kambing, kasi yung kambing, madali siyang nagbo-bolt. Kapag may dumaan na nagbubusina, bigla lang siyang tatalon at magbo-bolt, which is dangerous for mga commuters, tapos yung mga may sasakyan, at saka yung sa mga tao. So tupa ang kinuha nila kasi very relaxed and very calming. Sabi nila. So yun lang naman. Very simple.
Okay, saya po. Pero hindi pa po invasive yung tupa kung ganun po, kung parang tawag din inintroduce lang sila doon sa ecosystem ng UP.
Well, when you say invasive, may negative effect siya. Dapat may proven negative impact. So wala naman siyang negative impact kasi tumutulong nga siya na ma-reduce yung grass. Tapos pwede rin siyang source of meat eventually kung tumanda na siya, ganun. So
And source of sim din, Ma'am Lala? Marami nagpapapicture.
Oo.
Hinahain ba po minsan sa kantin ng CS sila? Okay, saya. Sarap. Salamat po na marami.
Thanks, Clyde. Okay. I think if you have any further questions while we're asking for your insights, feel free to use the Q&A, and kung hindi man ma-answer dito, you can just use the email addresses of our guests, our professors. So I'm sure they'll be happy to hear from you, especially if you want to be part of their project. So apologies if hindi namin na-cover yung inyong mga questions. So there's so many, and we're very thankful of the eagerness of our students. And again, thank you to our panelists and Prof. Logan, Prof. Soriano, Prof. Cayetano, and Prof. Española. I think that's it. I'll turn this over to Sam for student insights. So thank you again. Thank you very much.
All right. So thank you very much to our panelists and to Dom for the fruitful discussion. So now it's time to hear more from you, the audience. So let's take advantage of the fact that we're all here on Zoom. And para naman hindi lang kayo spectator dito, we also have some interactive component. So to the students here via Zoom, which are the CHK students and CS students, please take this time to talk and discuss with your classmates. So if meron kayong group chat, ayan, now is the time to use it. So I'll give you a few minutes to come up with what you think is the most valuable thing you have picked up from today's session. Or you can also share what are the challenges that you think you will be, I guess, facing or given the information that was shared today. So I guess I'll give you around maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and be randomly calling representatives from each class or each institute to share their thoughts. And in the meantime, please use the Q&A button to type in any questions that you still might have for our panelists, and they will hopefully try to be able to answer these via the Q&A function. All right. Hello again. So we will now hear from our students about their reflections, takeaways, and challenges from today's discussion. Okay, so let's begin. So, syempre, dahil ako yung host, dapat mauna yung MBB. Ayan. So, can I have a representative from NIMBB to share what the class thought their most valuable takeaway was from today? Okay. Kung wala, magtatawag na ako. Sige. Jean, are you here? Or anyone else from MBB? Okay, sige. In the meantime, Dom, can you... okay, sige. Go ahead, Kurt.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so we talked as a class, and as a class, we wholeheartedly agree with the things that were taught here in the session. First, na-realize ka namin na yun nga, I think it's knowledge for everyone that the Philippines is a very biodiverse country. Marami tayo ditong ecosystems and stuff like that. And dahil nga doon, we need to advocate for our biodiversity and for our environment. And actually, na-appreciate namin yung talk kasi nag-focus dito on how we can further innovate what we currently have to further strengthen yung pag-protect nga and ensuring na kung ano meron tayo na preserve siya and na further cultivate para hindi siya nawawala sa ating sistema ngayon. With that said, yun nga, as students, marami tayong pwedeng gawin even in our own little ways. Nung Q&A, actually na ano ko yung mga ibang sinabi na yun nga, we can advocate yung pag-take lang ng pictures and pag-show kunwaring how bad the smog situation is in the Philippines and yung pwede rin nating yun nga, we can further showcase yung paggamit nga ng bike lanes and stuff like that. So, ayun, we discussed as a class na we can do many things even though na students pa lang kami. And that by at least knowing these things, we can further advocate for them, especially in the future kapag mas may kaya na kami.
Okay, thank you so much. So, from IM, Math, siguro Dom, you can help me out if wala pang speak up.
I'm sure meron yan. And I'm speaking to them in our private chat. And I think may mag-volunteer na in a bit.
Okay.
Magandang araw po. Ako po ulit. Siguro yung reflection po namin, inamin ko po, wala kaming gano'n na pag-usapan. Ako lang yata nag-chat. Pero bale po, reflection namin ay parang kailangan namin lumabas ng mas madalas na yung na pag-usapan tungkol sa outdoor activities, lalo na sa mga taga-Maynilaan siguro tulad ng ilan sa amin, hindi madaling makakita ng totoong kalikasan at makalabas para gawin ng ganitong activities, at syempre medyo mahal naman talaga kasi makalabas ng lungsod. Gayon pa man, subukin pa rin dapat talaga namin na magawa ang ganitong mga gawain para na rin sa aming kalusugan at para na rin mapahalagaan namin yung kalikasan yung kalikasan na nakakapaligid sa amin po. At yun lang naman po sa tingin ko po.
Okay, thank you so much, Clyde. Next, can we have someone naman from CHK to share their thoughts? So please go ahead lang and unmute. Okay, so I think at this point, yung mga assessment natin or yung takeaways natin can be shared during class siguro at another time with their respective instructors. Ayan. Okay, so thank you for your inputs, and it's good to hear na marami tayong natutunan today. So also evidenced by the amount of questions that we received. So yun nga, we're also very sorry na hindi lahat makakover today given the limited time that we have. So for the next part of our program, may I call on Prof. Ian Lawrence Logan from the College of Human Kinetics to provide us with additional information on the Arbor Day Act. So let's give a virtual round of applause to Prof. Ian.
Maraming salamat for this opportunity, and may I share my screen? And I hope this is visible for everybody. Ayan. So I entitled my short presentation this morning, Tree Planting and Care, More Than a Philippine Legal Obligation. Okay, so did you know that you are legally obliged to plant and care for trees? And as you can see, there have been laws that were passed, and some of which were already mentioned by our earlier speakers. But I'd like us to focus on these particular laws that you can see on screen. Republic Act number 10176, Presidential Decree 1153, PD 953, RA 3571, and the Graduation Legacy for the Environment Act. Pangalan pa lang, meron na tayong idea. Bakit graduation legacy? Now, the Philippines is the riskiest place on Earth. It is situated within the Pacific Ring of Fire, and it is vulnerable to deadly typhoons. No, we are experiencing more than 22 on the average typhoons in 1 year, and it is record-breaking. We are prone to earthquakes, volcano eruptions, and other natural disasters as the country with the highest number of storms, and it is officially declared as the world's most disaster-prone country. So, makikita nyo, lagi tayong binabaha at may mga experiences tayong landslides sa mga prone areas, sa mga mountainous regions natin. Right? Now, in terms of being disaster-prone, looking at the latest study, 2023 World Risk Index, we have registered 46.86 points, the highest all over the world, where 0 score is the lowest and 100 is the very high risks. This is due to our high susceptibility, lacking of coping capacities, and lack of adaptive capacities. So, dahil dito, it makes sense that we have to be resilient. Resilience is a highly romanticized concept na pag sinabing Pinoy, resilient daw, no? Dahil bugbog, sanay sa hirap, no? But are we resilient and adaptive enough? Another recent study in 2022 showed that because of our social inequality and lack of development, we have insufficient political stability, health and care infrastructure, and general lack of progress. We still lack adaptive mechanisms and resiliency despite our being prone to disasters. That's why it is good that at least we have legal mechanisms to build ecological responsiveness. Again, did you know that you and I are legally bound to comply and abide by our laws about trees? Tingnan natin kung ano yung mga laws na to, and I am highlighting only 5 for today. So the law RA 10176 is also known as the Arbor Day Act of 2012, requiring all able-bodied citizens aged 12 and up to plant 1 tree annually. Pag sineselebrate natin ang June 25, Philippine Arbor Day, baka hindi natin alam to, no? Every June 25, kailangan we are obliged, no? It is our responsibility to plant trees and ornamental plants. Okay. Bukod dito, meron pa tayong responsibility to take care and maintain this, no? The law RA 3571 prohibits and criminalizes the cutting, destroying, or injuring of planted or growing trees, flowering plants, and shrubs along public roads, in plazas, parks, school premises, or in any other public grounds. Ibig sabihin nito talagang kapag tayo ay may tinanim na puno sa ating harapan ng bahay and it happens to be along the road, hindi basta-basta natin ito ay ikakat, no? Or unless meron tayong special permits na i-comply, no? Ng ating masunod ang RA 3571. At ano ang parusa? Depende sa LGU. Minsan it could be as grave as imprisonment or mga fees, no? So mga fines, no, that will discourage us from cutting trees. Ngayon, alam ba natin ito? Baka hindi pa. At is it implemented? Baka hindi pa. So the implementation of the law is another question. Now let's look at Presidential Decree 9573. It requires every landowner, no, of subdivided into residential, commercial, industrial lots, no, to reserve, develop, and maintain open spaces with trees. Meron ba tayo nito? No? Mukhang wala na sa Metro Manila, no? And it penalizes unauthorized cutting, destruction, damaging, or injuring of certain trees, plants, and vegetation. It requires individuals owning land adjacent to rivers or creeks, no? Kung malapit tayo sa mga rivers or bodies of water na yan, to have an extension of at least 5 meters on their land na kailangan magtanim sila doon ng puno. Nasusunod ba ito? So it's another question to ask. Let's look at Presidential Decree number 1153. Under its Section 2, the decree requires landowners and resident citizens at least 10 years old and above, no, to plant trees along roadsides and other specified areas for 5 consecutive years. Look at that rate, no? Is it realistic? Itong dahilan kung bakit nagkaroon ng Executive Order 287, which repealed this law, questioning the frequency of planting 1 tree every month for 5 consecutive years. Parang hindi yata realistic. Maganda ang kanyang intention, pero yung yung decree na ito ay parang hindi kayang isakatuparan. Kaya naman in 2022, a proposal echoed the decree's concept suggesting tree planting as a graduation requirement akin to PD number 1153. Kaya meron tayo nitong panghuli, House Bill 8728 at naipasa na ito sa Senate, no, sa Congress. Graduation Legacy for the Environment Act. Ito. It aims to make tree planting a requirement for graduation in the Philippines. It passed the House of Representatives but didn't become a law as of August 17, 2023. Hindi pa siya batas, no? Pero 2 beses na itong naipasa, no? And if enacted, it's an ongoing thing. It would mandate all students at all educational levels to plant 10 trees each before graduating, with emphasis to environmental responsibility. So, marami tayong initiatives, marami tayong batas, but the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. No, we want to make sure that our opportunities to help the environment, our ailing environment, is met, no? Are met. The Philippines' battle against deforestation is ongoing, but progress has yet to be seen. And the country so far implemented various programs and policies to promote reforestation, sustainable forest management, and biodiversity conservation. Kaya lang, hindi pa rin ito full, no, 100% fully in place because of lack of proactive green measures. So what can we do as students? No, we can start by researching what viable trees could be planted in my locale, which trees thrives best on certain topographies. We could actually even prepare how we could support seedling preparation. So we have one at the College of Human Kinetics working on nurseries, yung pag-produce ng planting materials at the Eco Garden. And how can I help in multiplying planting materials? Which method works best in terms of propagating or in terms of advocacy? How can I help in disseminating awareness, knowledge, and skills in my locale, in my circle of influence? So dito na papasok yung mga pictures na gusto nating i-post sa social media, things that little things that you can do within your means and resources. And then finally, mobilize. How can I involve others to form collective actions to implement the law and multiply actions? So, kanina nabanggit ko yung lamesa as a favorite place kasi you really don't have to look far. You may opt to help conserve the last remaining forest in its size sa Metro Manila dito sa lamesa. It's within Quezon City. Their peak planting season is from June to September, pag tag-ulan, yan. And kahit na hindi tag-ulan, you may want to visit the Lamesa Eco Park. 40 pesos lang ang entrance for students and QC residents. And Lamesa Nature Reserve, dito naman 200 pesos per head for a minimum of 5 per group. Minamanage nila yung crowd para yung ecological impact ay ma-maintain, ma-manage din. So here I am flashing yung telephone number and contact details if you are interested to support the propagation and planting, no, ng mga native species natin such as palosapis, banaba, yakal, saplungan, and bitaog. Okay, now the palosapis and yakal saplungan are endangered, no, vulnerable and critically endangered respectively, but efforts are being made through regular propagation and tree planting activities and care sa nature reserve na ito. So you might want to consider this as your student-led initiative, no, to help and in fact to comply with the law that you are supposed to plant, no, before as a responsibility in compliance with the law, no, especially during June 25th of every year, where we are expected to comply with the legal mandate to plant a tree or an ornamental plant kung walang opportunity sa ating lokal, to maintain the greenery, no? A green nation and a healthier, more health conducive environment for everyone. So thank you very much. That ends my short reminder and presentation. I hope it gave you an idea of what you can do to comply with the law and help in the conservation and protection of our environment and in the mitigation of risks, being that the country is most vulnerable for natural disasters. Thank you. So
So thank you very much, Prof. Ian, for that informative presentation, and I hope all of us become motivated to, you know, do our part in planting trees, regardless of if it's required by law or not. Yeah. And with that, we are now nearing the end of our program for today. So first of all, let me personally thank all of the panelists who are here today. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that we all learned so much today. And the things that we learned, we will take with us forever. Ayan. Okay, so to acknowledge and give thanks to our speakers and panelists, may I have them on standby, please, and may I also call on NSTP Director, Prof. Dennis Kilala, to award the certificates of appreciation. Okay. So let me read the inscription on the certificate. This certificate is awarded to for sharing his or her knowledge and expertise as one of the resource speakers during the Ikaw at Eco, an environmental protection seminar, which is part of the Bayanihan sa Diliman lecture series organized by the National Service Training Program Diliman Office, given this 20th day of November 2023 at the Institute of Biology Auditorium, College of Science. And so, Prof. Dennis, may you call on their names and to do the virtual awarding.
Thank you, Sam. So, Sir Dizer, Dean Dizer, please. If you can turn your camera on, please. The certificate is awarded to Associate Professor Ronualdo Dizer. Also,
Sir Dennis, on behalf of Sir Dizer, right now he is attending to a game, and he told me to take his stead for the time being. So on his behalf, thank you for this certificate, sir.
Thank you, Sir Ian. Then another certificate to Dr. Maricor Soriano. Dr. Maricor, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to
Thank you,
talk to.
Dr. Soriano. And then to Dr. Mylene Cayetano.
Thank you very much, NSTP Diliman, College of Science in CHK, for hosting this NSTP lecture series and also for doing this panel discussion very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cayetano. And also to Dr. Española.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Española.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. Now let's have our virtual picture taking. So may I ask all the panelists, Prof. Dennis, as well as the NSTP instructors who are here today to kindly turn on their video feeds so that we can take a screenshot. Okay, on the count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. So now, let's have a picture with all of the students who are here today. So to the students who want to give their consent for their video being shown, you may do so now. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Now, to formally close our program, may I call on back Professor Dennis Kilala to give us a few words.
Thank you, Sir Sam. Magandang araw po sa lahat. To our speakers, Professor Dizer, Dr. Soriano, Dr. Española, Dr. Cayetano, and Professor Logan, thank you for sharing your knowledge regarding environmental protection. Here are some of my takeaways. Number one would be the relationship between environmental protection and instruction, at least in the case of the College of Science. And I'm in the College of Human Kinetics and also College of Science. I think it's important that we see that environmental protection is not just something that we do in itself, which is very, very important, but also something that we need to do in order for us to be able to do our instruction. It also has other practical reasons, like, for example, it is for health and our wellness. Number two, I think there is a relationship between environmental protection, research, community engagement, and even national security. In the presentation of Dr. Soriano, for example, with regard to her research on coastal reef monitoring, it's just about research, but we can see the innovative use, for example, of indigenous resources like our own bangka, primarily because of their recognition that it's important that we look at our end users. It's important for community engagement. They've been involving the communities, but also because of the Tubataha incident that they mentioned, it's also important when it comes to national security. I hope that it will inspire NSTP students to think about innovative community engagement projects and also projects that would involve our coastal communities. Kasi sabi nga kanina ni Dr. Soriano, 60% of our population live in coastal communities. And I think it's also high time for UP Diliman to be looking at projects that would involve coastal communities. Number three, environmental protection seems to be related to civic education. We have enumerated a lot of laws that require us to protect the environment. So as citizens, we need to protect our environment. Lastly, and this came out from the discussion, we have to involve our communities when it comes to our research, when it comes to the environment, when it comes to engaging the communities, which involves the environment also. And it's not only true in the presentations this morning, but especially true for our classes in NSTP. So to our students, I know you have gained a lot of insights today. It is now time to translate that into your NSTP projects. We do have a lot of projects that involve environmental protection, but we can do more, we can do more. There was also a question earlier posted by Sir Dom and also Sir Sam, what to do as students and what to do as students, and especially as NSTP students when it comes to environmental protection. Let me just challenge you to do some small things, like, for example, ask the question, are our projects affecting the environment? Whatever project you decide to do, be it something to do with the environment, or let us say something that would include human rights, ask yourselves, is the project, the planning, and also the implementation of the project, is that good for the environment? Are we using plastic? Can we do away with plastic? Are we going to buy bottled water, for example, to the communities that we will be engaged in? Baka naman pwedeng wag na lang bottled water or may involved na plastic kapag ine-engage natin yung ating mga communities. If you are in the community, why not bring garbage bags and help in the solid waste management of the communities? So as NSTP students, we can do a lot when it comes to environmental protection, and we can do that while implementing our NSTP projects. Thank you and congratulations to the College of Science and the College of Human Kinetics for hosting today's Bayanihan sa Diliman. Professor Abuda, Professor Dizer, Professor Ian, thank you for organizing today's Bayanihan. Sir Sam, Sir De La Cruz, and Sir Briones, thank you for hosting and moderating. Sa ating lahat, nawa ipagpatuloy natin ang masikhay at tapat na paglilingkod para sa ating bayan. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
So thank you as well, Prof. Dennis. And with that, I would also again like to thank everyone for joining us today. And this event would not have been possible without your enthusiasm and participation. So just a reminder, next week is a holiday, so our Bayanihan sa Diliman series will be put on pause for that week. But on December 4th, we will have, I believe, the final module, which is drug education. So, before you go, please don't forget to scan the QR code shown on screen to fill out the evaluation form for this event. And for the students still here on Zoom, we'll just wait a while for the live stream to end and we'll have another picture so that we're able to include everyone.